You ever feel like you're just not good enough for your parents?
Be more than human.
Hello, friends, and we are back in Cradle. Now, we have made our way to Bloodline, and first and foremost, if you are just randomly finding this video, I am doing more of a reaction style video to these since we are nearing the end or nearing where we're currently at. So if you've been following along this whole time, it is spoiler filled. So if you haven't read the book yet, go over there, hit that, then make your way back over here, and we can all geek out together. All right, so let's kind of jump into it. This book has been or was more like straightforward. There's not a lot of deviations or side plots or this or that. It was just we're going back to Sacred Valley. We're gonna try and save as many people as we can. The Titan is coming and we got to get the hell out of Dodge. you know, um, that's pretty much what this was about. I mean, there were a few things here and there. One thing I think this book had more, of the, you know, surreal and all of them. I think the more of the people from the heavens in it than any other book. I could be wrong about that, but I don't think I am. We start this off with Chair, Lyndon being confronted um, by Charity for wanting to leave, and you know, basically trying to come up with you know a deal or some way somehow. Basically he's telling it's like I'm gonna leave. What do we have to do here to make this as least painful as possible? Um, and you know, Lyndon is, he. This book is one thing I will say about this book for how simplistic it is. It you actually get inside Linden maybe more than any other book. Um, a lot of internal thinking and trying to tell people how trying to come to grips with how he feels about himself. Um, and so I mean this man, towards the end of this book I kind of got pissed. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that here in a minute. Um, so as they're as they're making their way to Sacred Valley, Ethan is trying to kind of hide something from Yaren and Lyndon, and then all of a sudden, Mercy pops up, pops up out of the storage or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, okay, well, I guess that's a good surprise." And Ethan being Ethan, he's always kind of being coy, and now that Lyndon's senses are kind of on his level, he's trying his best because he loves to you know play tricks on everybody and know everything before everybody else and be able to hide things. Um, and Ethan, as always, hilarious throughout the entire book. Um, Ethan is, I continue to say, one of my favorite fantasy characters ever. Um, but one cool thing is, as we come upon Sacred Valley, um, Lennon has a very cool way of describing the field around because they were kind of when they got to the edge where that dampening like field is, They all kind of barely tested it, kind of walked in and walked out of it, and um, he he called it like a vampiric power. Um, just sucking, the energy out of you. And one thing we learned is the more powerful you are, the quicker it sucks down your power. Which we also learned is why Lyndon chose not to go from Underlord to Overlord, because him and Dross kind of seen this coming. So he's been kind of holding back, so he gets hit the least. And another cool thing that Will Wight kind of put in there, and I'm sure he knew this from the very beginning, but with the path of twin stars, he has, two, souls inside of him or whatnot. He can hold his power longer than everybody else because he has two. So I thought that was a pretty cool thing to put in there. Um, but one thing I just oh man, I hated. So Lennon saves Orthos and his sister, and they're you know fighting off these people. But when he gets to his parents, his parents, you know, because of the dampening field, they can't understand how powerful he is. They see that he's like, oh, he's a jade, but he sees everybody else, and they kept like putting everybody above him, like, oh, Yaren is your teacher, because he, and he's, or Ethan is your mentor or whatever. All these are the people that got you where you were, you know, and he's in this weird state of, well, I want to tell them just how powerful I am, you know, but they're his parents, and they keep like they were like downgrading him, and I'm like, you pieces of garbage, you know. I mean, we know what Lennon's went through. Yeah, yeah, Lennon has scraped together all these things to get him where he is, but he did it. I mean, he forced his way. He's worked his whole nonstop for the last 3 years, um, and you know, but he's trying to. They're trying to save as many people as they can, but we've also figured out that Serial, she's got this, there's this war going on with this guy named the Mad King. And you get some backstory with him and how he tried to take over once before, but was knocked down, rebuild his strength up, and now he's stronger than ever. And you know, she actually comes out and talks to Lyndon again, and basically tells him, he's like, well, kind of screwed things up. Timeline has been moved up from 30 years to now, you know. And, so, but she was like, you are what can stop the Titan and the Dread God and everything. And he's like, I don't have that power. Like, he goes, I don't know what you're, you know, but she kind of leaves him feeling like, you can do this, and I'll see you again when you advance. Because I mean, as things progress, like he's getting towards the top end, so at some point he's going to, there. I feel like it looks like they're, at least him and Yaren are gonna ascend, but I would think Ethan would as well, maybe even Mercy. But Mercy kind of says like she doesn't think so. She thinks she's going to be stuck, with her, having to, you know, take over her family lineage there. Um, but one thing, even though it's a straightforward book, the battle with a Titan is crazy. Um, you have Malice attacking it, then Northstrider's attack the Phoenix he's fighting the Phoenix. The Phoenix ends up coming in, but it takes all the collective power, of Ethan, Mercy, Lyndon, Yaren, Zeal. all these guys, orthos, everybody, to be able to turn, even turn the Wandering Titan around, and Dross ends up having to kind of sacrifice himself. He's not dead, but he's not really here, afterwards. But it was pretty sweet. Like in the end, um, in the end, Lyndon was able to use his arm and Dross to use uh, the silver fox, way or whatever, to make an illusion inside the Dread God, and get the Dread God to turn away, which I thought was pretty sweet, using that inside of Sacred Valley, because they were using the dampening thing to weaken the Dread God. Just enough. I mean, they couldn't take him out or really, really hurt him. I think they hurt him just a little bit, but it was more of a just getting him to turn and leave, was a victory in itself. But I mean, again, Ethan has some of the funniest things. Like his hair got all messed up, and he's like, do I? He's sitting there. He's all like bloody and beat up, and his hair got on fire, and he's sitting there. He's like, do do I have sap in my hair? You would tell me if I had sap in my hair, right? And they end up that they're like, your hair is terrible. We're gonna have to cut it. He goes, just kill me now. Just kill me now. You know, because Ethan's like all about his looks. He's like, yeah, whatever. I could be battered and bruised, but I'm still the best looking guy here. Um, but I love, like, I wasn't really big on the secondary thing, the heavens characters, but like he's starting to bring me. I'm not 100% there. I'm still way more invested in what's happening down here. Um, but he's turning me a little bit. Okay, Will's turning me a little bit. I'm getting a little more interested. I guess it just takes him telling you more of the story of what's going on. I still don't know if I'm gonna be as invested, even the more he talks about it. But I can't wait to see where we end up at. Um, like I said, Draw sacrificed himself. They said that even if he comes back, he might not be the same, which would be terrible because Dross is an amazing character. Um, but what did you guys think about Bloodline? Is this in your top? I mean, how do you feel about it? Were you excited about the way it went? Make sure that if you like this, you're subscribed. Hit that notification bell so you always know when I'm bringing you more Cradle. And I'm gonna be trying to put something big together once I get caught up here at the end, with Dread God, and I'll see you in the next one.